You all are at the tail end of your PR tour for this film, and I can only imagine the amount of times you've all been asked, so did he do it? Is Father Flynn guilty? Did he actually do it or not? And that's not the most productive question, really, I would imagine, in many of your minds. I want to know, what do you all think an audience should be debating when they walk out of this movie, other than, did Father Flynn do it or not?
When I saw the whole film put together, I thought about my own tendency to be judgmental.
Yes.
And I... What?
Oh, I'm just laughing. It's a human thing, makes me laugh.
And I thought about, this will be hard for critics because they are that, you know?
Yes,
and it's, will they see themselves? No, probably.
The Christmas pageant. We must be careful how Donald Miller is used in the
Easy
pageant.
there, sister. All right, what about Donald Miller?
You sit back from certain films and just let them entertain you. But the ones that are really annoying are the ones that reach in and ask a question.
In my fantasy, I would think that if anyone went into therapy who was kind of arrogant about their own shortcomings, I think the moment of truth would be in therapy if their hearts were convicted and they really saw their putridness. Seriously, if they, you know, the therapist really just, you know, just showed them their shortcomings. The moment of truth would come if they stayed in the therapy and battled it out, or if they left. Now, there are a lot of people who would just leave. And it's the same thing with the movie. You know, once your heart is convicted, you know, about your own tendencies to be judgmental and to have rigid belief systems, are you going to explore them? Are you going to acknowledge that?
We must be careful in the pageant that we neither hide Donald Miller nor put him forward.
Because of the color of his skin?
That's right.
Why?
Come, Father.
I think he should be treated like every other boy.
Well, you yourself singled the boy out for special attention. You held a private meeting with him at the rectory a week ago.
Yes. It is fun to hear people's conversations, and I never interject. And they're waiting for me to tell them. And they say, well, what do you think? And I say, it's not about what I think, it's about what you think, and that's what's great about the film. Because it's about what each person thinks and what experience they walk into this film with and what their perspective is. More than any film I've ever done, people bring their own personal perspective and they are just not going to move. They're like, no, 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 I know that character. I know her. And I'm like, but you don't.
The boy acted strangely when he returned to class.
He did.
When he returned from the rectory, a little odd, yes.
Can you tell us why?
You spend your life creating yourself. You know what I mean? Not actively, but you spend your life and you become who you are, whether you're aware of it or not. Those moments in life where you're like, what if everything I put together in this very careful way is standing on sand? Yes. You know, and you see the energy it takes to hold on to who you are, what you stand for, stand by, or how you're living your life. And then sometimes that idea of like, I'm not going to hold on. I'm not going to hold on. And you know, poof, and that thing that happens, and when that happens, how things flood in and flood out. And sometimes it closes up like 5 minutes later. What Viola and Meryl do in the movie, and then what ultimately Meryl does in the movie through Sister Aloysius, is that moment of it's allowing you to open that thing.
One man is good to him, this priest. Then does a man have his reasons? Yes. Everybody does. You have your reasons, but do I ask the man why he's good to my son? No.
One of the centerpieces of the film is the scene with the two of you, Mrs. Miller and Sister Aloysius. In the film, a lot of it takes place outside. you're walking through the sidewalk. In the play, I think it was all inside, and Mrs. Miller was almost kind of more subordinated to Aloysius, the way she was sitting. And what do you think it adds to it to have it be outside and the two of them walking? Because Mrs. Miller seems to be the only one who can put Sister Aloysius on the defensive.
I'm not sure it's so dependent on the setting as the game-changing aspect of the human emotion that is uncovered and revealed. The film, the play is going in one direction. Did he, didn't he? Did he, didn't he? And then this other information from Mrs. Miller comes, emotional information. It completely takes a left turn. The whole thing goes, didn't see that coming.
My son needs some man to care about him and to see him through the way he wants to go. And thank God this educated man with some kindness in him wants to do just that.
I still felt very powerless, you know, in the scene.
Even though you're taller than me.
Yeah, and even though I'm tougher than you, Mel.
No!
I can 15 rounds with you. No, I'm only kidding. No, that was really a joke.